Order. Permission to approach the bench. I object!
No, I object.
I heard it there. It's coming from the book.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the movies that were as good as, or even better than, the books they were based on, and the adaptations that made book lovers walk out of the theatre. We'll only be looking at standalone films, since franchises deserve their own list.
This is wonderful. I meant to go back, wander the paths of Mirkwood.
Number 5, nailed it, The Social Network.
Mr. Zuckerberg, do I have your full attention?
No.
Do you think I deserve it?
What?
Do you think I deserve your full attention?
This Academy Award-winning film from Aaron Sorkin is based on Ben Mesrick's book about the inception of Facebook, The Accidental Billionaires. Mesrick drew his material from court documents and conversations with the real people involved to create an entertaining and enlightening narrative.
I'm not a bad guy.
I know that. When there's emotional testimony, I assume 85% of it is exaggeration.
And the other 15?
Perjury. Creation myths need a devil.
The movie adds an extra layer of drama and tension thanks to Sorkin's writing, David Fincher's direction, and standout performances from the actors. Jesse Eisenberg is perfectly cast as Mark Zuckerberg. Andrew Garfield also turns in an underrated and highly effective portrayal of Eduardo Saverin, although some people, including Zuck himself, have disputed the historical accuracy of the film. It remains one of the most critically acclaimed movies of the 2010s.
I believe I deserve some recognition from this board.
I'm sorry?
Yes.
Number 5, Flubbed It, The Time Machine.
I wonder if we'll ever go too far.
With what?
With this, with all of this.
No such thing.
H.G. Wells's 1895 sci-fi novella was years ahead of its time. Wells was one of the first thinkers to describe time as a fourth dimension and to imagine travelling through it using some kind of vehicle. His book basically invented the time travel genre, yet until the 2000s, only one feature film adaptation existed. A low-budget, somewhat silly 1960 movie starring Rod Taylor. So, in 2002, when fans learned about a new adaptation with a big budget and 21st century special effects, many were thrilled. That is, until they saw it.
I don't believe it.
Well, if you don't like the answers, you should avoid asking the questions.
Wells's brilliant social commentary and simple but riveting tale are gone, replaced by a shoehorned love story and a bunch of ridiculous plot contrivances. It was a huge letdown for sci-fi fans everywhere.
You are the inescapable result of your tragedy. Just as I am the inescapable result of you.
Number 4, nailed it, No Country for Old Men.
What's the most you ever lost on a coin toss?
Sir?
The most you ever lost on a coin toss.
Capturing the spare dialogue and primal feel of Cormac McCarthy's novel would be no easy task for a filmmaker, but if anyone could do it, it was the Coen brothers. Their screenplay is highly faithful to the book, and it's helped along by stunning western vistas and pitch-perfect casting.
I got a bad feeling, Llewellyn.
Well, I got a good one, so that ought to even out. You gotta quit your worrying so much.
Tommy Lee Jones portrays Sheriff Ed Tom Bell with such complexity, giving the character a visceral wariness underneath his tough Texas exterior. And of course, Javier Bardem's psychopathic killer Anton Chigurh has been ranked among the greatest movie villains of all time. These performances, combined with the Coens' masterful use of tension, make for a brilliant crime drama.
What is it Torbert says about truth and justice?
Oh, we dedicate ourselves daily anew. Something like that.
I'm gonna commence dedicating myself twice daily. Might come to 3 times before it's over with.
Number 4, Flubbed It, The Scarlet Letter. This one isn't just a bad adaptation, it's a bad movie, period.
Are you sure God's not punishing me?
To be sure, he's punishing a woman.
Nathaniel Hawthorne's classic novel explores complex themes of morality and sin, and the dangerous influence of religious puritanism. The 1995 movie completely misses the point, turning Hawthorne's dark drama into a dumbed-down, small-paced romance.
Your tongue knows no rules, Mistress Flynn.
And if it did, Reverend, what purpose would it serve?
And here I thought comprehending God was going to be my greatest challenge.
Critics, unsurprisingly, hated it. The pretentious dialogue is often inadvertently hilarious, and the gratuitous sex scenes are anything but sexy. It's one thing to adapt a Victorian-era novel for 20th century sensibilities, but when you've turned the tormented Reverend Dimmesdale into a slick 17th century version of a rock star, you've gone too far.
We are not succeeding in that test. We are failing in that test, and why? Because we covet, nay, we lust after what is not ours.
Number 3 nailed it, To Kill a Mockingbird.
I was to think of these days many times, of Jim and Dill and Boo Radley and Tom Robinson and Atticus.
Few stories stand the test of time like Harper Lee's seminal 1960 novel, and few adaptations live up to their source material as well as Robert Mulligan's film version. It was widely acclaimed at the time of its release, and is still considered a must-watch for cinephiles.
In the name of God, do your duty.
Gregory Peck's portrayal of Atticus Finch is a performance for the ages, and earned the actor his only Academy Award. Though the movie is set in 1930s Alabama, it deals with themes of racism and justice that are as relevant today as ever. In the hands of less talented creators, its messaging could have been too heavy-handed, but instead, To Kill a Mockingbird is a masterclass in powerful, dramatic filmmaking.
Miss Jean Louise? Miss Jean Louise, stand up. Your father's passing.
Number 3, Flubbed It, A Wrinkle in Time.
The only thing in the universe that travels faster than light is the darkness.
If you're going to adapt a beloved, award-winning children's book for a new generation, you've got to nail it. Unfortunately, Disney instead gave us a sappy CGI spectacle that is far more style than substance. Mrs. Who, What's It, and Which are done especially dirty. In the book, these interdimensional beings are incredibly wise and often quite funny, but their movie versions are silly at best and boring at worst.
Ow! Yes, she's fine.
What's it? We don't kick people.
Oh, I didn't know.
Despite its less than 2-hour runtime, the film's pacing is all over the place, and the ending feels weirdly anticlimactic. Considering how wildly inventive the original novel is, it's almost impressive that the movie fell this flat.
It hurts. Come here. Cover your ears.
Number 2 nailed it, The Shawshank Redemption.
How about expanding the library, get some new books in there?
Gonna ask for something, ask for a pool table.
Right.
How do you expect to do that?
Adaptations of Stephen King's work tend to be extremely hit or miss, but this is definitely one of the hits. Based on King's 1982 novella, Frank Darabont's screenplay changed very little from the original work beyond the physical appearance of the two leads. The theme of holding on to hope in the face of relentless adversity is as powerful today as it was 30 years ago. And of course, we can't forget Morgan Freeman's iconic narration.
I have to remind myself that some birds aren't meant to be caged. Their feathers are just too bright. And when they fly away, the part of you that knows it was a sin to lock them up does rejoice.
There's a reason this movie is consistently ranked as one of the greatest of all time, and we dare you not to tear up at that final scene.
I hope the Pacific is as blue as it has been in my dreams. I hope.
Number 2, Flubbed It, Artemis Fowl.
Well, where should we start?
That's my biography, I presume.
It is.
Fans were excited to finally see Owen Kelfer's fantasy series come to life after years of development delays, and Kenneth Branagh seemed like a perfect fit to direct. However, the movie chops so much out of the original novel that the story is barely recognisable, and anyone who hasn't read the book will have a hard time following along.
It's too well hidden. And their books? It's not just a different language. It's encoded.
Character development is practically non-existent, replaced by frenetic CGI fight scenes and poor attempts at humour. Artemis himself is supposed to be a criminal genius with a complicated character arc, but in this version, he's just unlikable. These talented people deserve to be in a better movie.
Listen to the two of us, grunting at each other like a pair of hippos with a throat infection.
Number 1, nailed it, The Princess Bride. One foolproof way to make sure your movie adaptation is faithful to the book is to let the author write the screenplay himself.
As you wish.
And that's exactly what happened with William Goldman's The Princess Bride. Simultaneously an old-fashioned swashbuckling adventure, a romance and a comedy, the film has charmed viewers of all ages since its release.
What? What?
Now it's kissing again. You don't want to hear that.
I don't mind so much.
Okay.
Though the original novel is lengthy, Goldman's script manages to capture all the best moments without sacrificing story structure. Every actor understands their assignment perfectly, resulting in some of the most memorable and quotable characters in film history. To call this movie a beloved classic would be an understatement.
This is true love. I think this happens every day.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1, Flubbed It, The Dark Tower. Speaking of Stephen King adaptations that missed the mark, this movie was doomed before the cameras even started rolling.
There's always a battle. Always. Or no more.
Isn't that why we're losing? Because everyone stopped believing.
King's Dark Tower series is 8 novels and over 4,000 pages long, full of deep, meticulously crafted world building. What were the filmmakers thinking trying to cram it into a single 95-minute film? Even more baffling, how did they manage to make a movie about wizards, cowboys, and parallel dimensions so boring?
I hope you don't mind me making myself at home. Where I come from, we don't have chicken.
An adaptation of this series could have been epic and grandiose, in the vein of the original Lord of the Rings trilogy. Instead, we got a flat, lifeless film, where everyone on screen just seems like they want to get it over with.
I don't want any trouble.
Well, then you're smarter than most. Hurry up.
Which movie adaptation did you think was better than the book? Let us know in the comments.
Hold me tight and close your eyes.
What? Why?
What do stars do?
Shine. Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.